And we're
Okay.
back.
So, once again, you find yourselves going through this sort of tunnel that is both endless and instant at the same time, and you find yourself coming through a yet another sort of, as you look back at it, secret panel in a wall that slides to the side as you walk into the menagerie. And you're in this large rectangular room. I've got some box text. This area is split between two large square sections, each laid out similarly to the other. The sections contain a number of glass encasements, each populated with a beastly creature, apparently stuffed and placed inside. Apparently stuffed and placed inside amidst a diorama of natural vegetation. Creatures in the glass enclosures include a greasy, rust-pelted bear covered in horns standing on its hind legs, a floating jellyfish the color of a full moon floating in midair, and a bulbous barrel-like thing with a starfish head and numerous reaching tendrils extending from its strange body. In fact, my friends, I have for you an entire menagerie of weird stuff that I've picked up from various homebrew bullshit. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that into the map. It's going to read them all as hostile immediately, but that's okay. Are those visible?
Yes.
Excellent. There is a plaque next to each one that tells you what it is, so they should all be identifiable monsters and creatures and such. So you find yourself... And as you look closer, you realize these aren't stuffed. Like, it's very clear that once again you're dealing with some sort of stasis. There's some sort of like time warping or some sort of stasis happening that is keeping these people, these creatures, in their glass cases.
Aside from the creatures in the glass cases, is there anybody else in the room with us? Immediately apparent.
Yeah. So, Calder, you have that true sight thing going for you. So, I'm going to need you specifically to make a perception check for me, please. Swoops can go ahead and make a perception check as well, please.
Does it rely on his echolocation hearing?
It does, so I believe he gets advantage.
Gets advantage.
I'm going to use one of my points for that.
Okay.
So no. I'll take the 11 over the 3.
Yeah, and Swoops' blind sight goes out to 60 feet.
Okay. So, I'm going to say with 11s that for now, you are just noticing with the true sight that these are indeed real creatures and not sort of stuffed mannequins. Except there's one, like, way on the far side that looks like it might be an actual mannequin. I'm unlocking movement so you can move around if you want. I have all of the facts of all of these creatures, so if there's something you're curious about, if you look at it, I can give you a bit of a description. We can talk about it, but as far as you can tell, for the moment, you're the only actual living beings in here that aren't in glass.
I was going to say that I was more discomfited by the trophy room than kitchen, but
You're telling me.
I think it's continuing here. I don't like this.
Neither do I, but fortunately, we are in good company.
Jeff, if you could move closer to your microphone, that'd be great.
Sorry, I'm doing something else here. All right, there, finally done. It was bugging me. It was a needle in my eye. So, yes, sorry about that. Colonel just will pat fell on the shoulder and go, but good thing we're in good company.
Yes. I hope you didn't mind my invitation away from your previous friends to join us.
No, it was much appreciated. I'm afraid that our friends. Well, yes. That could have gone really poorly, and you handled it very well, and I appreciate that, and thank you.
Are you here to just study the architecture?
Look, if I'm being honest, I kind of crashed into here. I didn't really intend to be here at all. I saw this weird fog bank,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought, wow, that's a little bit weird. So I decided to check it out, and then I got shot down by these skulls that like shot things at me. It was very impolite. And I crashed into the door of this hut. It's on the one that we're in, the chicken leg one.
Yes.
And now I'm kind of here. And it's
So you
a
are-
really cool place, but like what the
But
hell
you
is
are
going on in here?
You are of Faerun, though.
Yes. I'm sorry. Good formal introductions. Felgalos is my name. They call me the Flying Misfortune. For reasons that perhaps you are now becoming aware.
Can I roll a history check on that
You
name?
absolutely can, yes.
Calder will just sort of shrug and goes, wings tend to be flat.
Did that actually go into check?
I did not
No.
see it, no.
Good. It was a shit roll. It never happened. Don't worry about it.
Just remember
better.
that the next time you misroll and it's really high. Just remember this moment. An 18.
I did take one course of dragonology.
Yes. No, Felgalos
Not that she
is...
knows he's a dragon.
Felgalos
Right
is legendary because he always seems to find himself... He's got that kind of very much chaos energy where wherever he goes, bad things seem to happen. Like, he just
seldom the
seems
cause
to
of
be
it.
in the middle of everything that is going wrong all of the time.
Charlotte
So the fact
has
that he's
heard
here is
jokes.
not like a great news.
Charlotte has heard jokes where his name is the punchline.
Yeah, definitely.
Ah, yes, the luck of Felgos.
Ah. I thought you'd be taller.
Oh, he is.
I am.
Sometimes.
Calder will uncuff his sleeve and will reveal the dragon blessing.
Oh,
You're in good company, good dragon.
that must have hurt.
Oh God, no! You have no idea.
Wow. That's a black... Wait. Oh, he's growing up. All right. Good to know.
Nice guy.
Yes.
The dragon, and she purposely didn't say his name when she was telling the story of her own dragon slaying,
Yep.
as she sort of gestures and with her skirts, kind of rearranging them around her. Thunder was the dragon I was speaking of earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like what happened to Thunder.
No,
But...
we didn't either. Although, speaking of all that fuckery, does anybody else feel like maybe our first assumption was wrong?
About
What do you
What?
mean?
Well,
you
we
might
still
need to be a
don't
bit more specific there.
grandmother and why her hut has appeared here and now.
Mhm.
We don't know the exact reason. That's what we came here to find out. But we all had that assumption of why. Because why else would she appear here and now if she's not aiming for some sort of interest in the ritual? Yes?
Yes.
I had a teacher in Blackstaff, very annoyingly, would often put multiple correct answers on a test for a question, and only grade you correct if you got the most correct answer. He
Aha.
was very fond of saying that the obvious answer is very tempting. What if grandmother's not here for anything to do with the ritual? She hasn't sent her hunters out to gather anything, and she's here weeks early if she's here for the ritual.
We are,
But
yeah, we are making the assumption that their interests are aligned, Del.
I posit that maybe she is also interested in the ritual. But what if she's here for something that's also here for the ritual? The mists outside opened up for us, led us here,
Yes.
and there was a scavenger hunt list waiting on the table.
We are assuming that this is from her.
Her or whoever is controlling the hut and the mist around it.
Well, I mean, it's not like we haven't thought that much of this is a trap of some sort anyway. It's very obviously a trap for many others who come, just looking at the others in the other room. And admittedly, I wasn't really part of most of that work and planning. I'm just along for the ride and the ability to, get an adventure on and do my part and beat things up and cook and, the things I enjoy doing. But
I don't know.
as
Maven.
we move further on, and I get to learn more about you all. Because let's be honest here. This is my first go around in this sort of thing. But I've heard others, and I've certainly listened to the tales of far greater dwarves than I. Are you getting at the idea that maybe the grandmother's
Here for one of us?
Here for one of you, yes. I mean,
Oh no, I'm
obviously
including you in that, Maven. Have you somehow missed how you've been able to almost effortlessly charm half the people in here?
I don't know if you realize that the chef they have is not what I would call universally palatable.
perhaps not universally palatable, but I would assume that if this chef is being hired by one such as grandmother, that the grandmother's tastes would follow in line more with the chef that she has hired, because do you really see the grandmother keeping on anyone that does not suit her purposes?
Who says your potential purposes as a cook?
Certainly, but let's be truly honest among us here.
Are we talking about
Yes,
Pepperhop?
We've met Pepperhop, yes.
You met Pepperhop. Yeah, no, I met him pretty early on. He cut off an ogre's hand for being too slow with the black pudding, and then put the hand in the pot. It was pretty gross.
Waste not, want not.
Sounds about.
I could see maybe wanting a cook that doesn't do that. Maybe.
Yes, but let's be brutally honest in this point. Yes. If the grandmother wanted a chef such as me or anything, I mean, I'm not bringing as much to the table.
By the way,
As
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It just occurs to me that I haven't asked yet. As I said, Felgulos, the flying misfortune. I don't think I got any of your names.
I'm very
I wasn't
sorry.
sure you were going to catch that.
Except I know you spoke in there, but I was kind of just.
No, we also didn't give them
if they
their.
knew what I was,
Oh, they would have tried to kill you.
Yes, I don't want my head to be on that wall, right? So thank you. I appreciate your invitation. I really do. Please remind me, friends. Who do I have the honor of being in the company of?
Well,
I shan't tell you my name, but you can call me Charlotte.
I'm not a fairy or a fae. I'm a dragon. I can't do anything with your name, but yes, I thank
Who
you.
says you're the only one listening?
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, it's not like I haven't said my name a zillion times already. Maven Iron Idol at your service. Yes. Just I will say this one more time. I did not particularly enjoy some of the things that I saw in Chef Pepperhop's kitchen. It was definitely not what I was expecting, and brought home to me a few things that perhaps I had been willfully disregarding. However, I still would prefer to be in that kitchen than in either this room or the previous. The fact that it was suggested that those poor people in there are a breath away from death and conscious of it, because that's what I heard, is possibly the most terrifying thing I could imagine.
I'm gonna give Calder and Swoops another perception check, please.
Come on, it's just teasing me at this point.
Hey,
Okay.
a little better.
And yeah, that was almost.
If we're gonna get like a short rest anytime soon,
I've got to say, Maven, I like this room a lot better, because to me, this is just a bunch of boxes.
That's fair. So what Charlotte doesn't realize, and I want to mention this because Maven and Dell are right next to it, the box that you're closest to is a thing called a retriever. It's very much like spider-like. I'll go ahead and share the picture, but it is spider-like, so, you know, fair warning.
fair warning to those who care.
Ooh.
Oh,
So that's what you are. That is what you are having this conversation next to, right? And it's been set in this little diorama of plants and such. And it's one of again about a dozen total things from various places around the multiverse, all around you.
Well, my dear Charlotte, you in this case have the advantage over all of us. I shan't describe any of the things in these boxes. Just safe to say that I wouldn't call one of them pleasant.
That's fair enough.
So
All right.
Swoops.
Maven, thank you for coming with us.
No, you're certainly most welcome. I mean, I would hate to think that you would have been here without me. You certainly would be skinnier.
Thank you.
So Swoops sort of begins to fly down into the southern half of the room. There are, by the way, obvious and unlocked doors that go to the east and the west, in between the north and south parts of the room. And Swoops sort of perches on top of the glass case containing something called a Machamp. It's a kind of 5.5 foot tall,
Really?
four-legged creature with a big, like long,
around and just
this big long like wolf jaws that look like they could bite into steel. It's totally not ripped off from anything and is legally distinct from any copyrights.
most certainly.
And begins to kind of like nose around the very bottom corner there.
Telepathically, I ask him, did you find something?
You get back a little bit of confusion because there seems to be magic involved. I'm gonna need Swoops to make an investigation check to see if he can
I'm
pierce
going
an
to
illusion.
cast Identify through Swoops.
Ooh,
It's
okay.
touch range. It's touch range.
It
It
is,
does
that's
take
true.
like a minute, right?
No, I'm casting it. Not as a ritual. I'm just casting it.
Okay,
Right?
so
Let
it
me
doesn't
double
take.
check.
So it takes a minute instead of 11 minutes then.
Identify. Yes, 1 minute casting time. I don't know how long has Swoop's been over there.
Not
That's
a, I'm gonna say not a minute, because like he gets out there, he transmits this information back to you.
Charlotte will begin to cast Identify through him. So he
Okay.
has to make an investigation check, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, that was almost good.
Swoops not being the MVP for once. Yeah.
You asked him to make an interroll.
So he's looking around, and I will say that yes, you are able to cast Identify. The problem is Identify, it identifies an item, yes?
An item, a person, or it's the thing that you're touching.
So it would give you the information on the stasis cage that is holding this Machamp, legally distinct, and would tell you a lot about the transmutation magic it takes to sort of keep these things in stasis. But I'm not sure if that's what you were looking for.
Well, was he touching the cage or the thing below it?
He was looking, sorry if I wasn't clear, he was looking towards the corner.
Oh, okay. So he was asking about a thing that he wasn't touching.
Yes.
Okay,
And because of the nature of illusions, like, he needed to break the illusion. He noticed that it was there, he was not able to break it. So he says there's something in this corner, but I don't know what it is because I can't see through the illusion.
Then I will start heading down there to feel around myself.
Something interesting?
Swoops thinks maybe there's something in a corner down here.
There's an honest-to-God gelatinous cube.
Yeah.
Does it fill
And
the whole diorama?
The Arclight Phoenix in the center is a gorgeous bird. Like, in mid-flight, like, sparks and flames coming off of the wings, or the wingtips.
Yes, she is.
Again, like, frozen in place. There is, kind of disturbingly, at the very, very bottom, straight up just a mannequin, and it's labeled Attack Mannequin.
Okay. Anyway, looking over at what Swoop's looking at.
As you get close, I need investigation checks from anybody and everybody.
Hi, I have true seeing.
You have true seeing. You cut through illusions immediately. So now that you are looking straight at the spot, there are a number of Mind Flayer bodies in the corner of the room, sort of piled up behind an illusion.
But as soon as he sees it, he'll bark out the word "halt."
Charlotte will freeze.
There are corpses. There are Mind Flayer corpses. He's immediately. Calder is on guard mode. He's already prepped. He's not subtly moving to cast a spell.
Ah,
Fella's gonna move to a place where he has a lot of space around him, just in case.
Calder's. Oh.
we just need to go through whatever door leads to the library.
Somebody hid these here.
It's probably one of these two.
Swoops on me. He flies back onto her necklace.
Steps back. I guess the question is how do we figure out which one? Do we split up or
What
just
are the nature of their injuries?
Excellent. Give me a medicine check. It's not going to be super high, but, higher is better, obviously.
What would mean the wisdom checks today? 10.
10 is fine for most of it. So you get that there are 3 corpses. 2 of them look like they were killed by a heavy blade. Pretty clear, large, heavy cuts. One of them, and you kind of go cold as you look at it, the last one looks like it's been partially to mostly eaten.
Like with teeth or with...
Like with teeth. Like with very large, very chompy teeth.
Okay, that narrows the candidates.
Maven, if you want to go through, or I can go through and check this door.
I think I'm going to go through this door.
All right, put Swoops on you before you go through.
Fantastic.
Hangs onto your little bonnet.
So anyone who wants to see through the illusion at this point can, because it's been pointed out.
Yep.
So yeah,
So
there's a trio of dead mind flayers in the corner. 2 of them dead from heavy blade attacks, and 1 from lots of teeth.
So as Maven goes through, Charlotte's going to hold the door open.
Okay.
And Maven has swoops on her bonnet.
And
Which is never not
through
cute
you
as
go.
hell.
Yeah, Calder's assuming that the open door is whatever is hiding in here is waiting for.
But as you are going through, she's going to put her senses into swoop. So she's standing there holding the door, but she is deaf and blind to the room she is in. Her senses are in swoops.
Got it. Okay, so let's go ahead and hold off on that for a second. What are other folks doing in this room? And then we'll move to the other one in a few moments.
In this room, you said we can see the mind flayers.
Yes.
Can I assess what might have caused their injury?
Yeah, absolutely.
Survival check fine, or
Survival's great, yeah. Oh, damn. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this was Anton. Like, straight up, you know his shit. Like, you've seen his work before. That's Anton's work right there.
What?
Okay.
And the other one's probably the chompy one.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the bite marks was Anton. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
No, the
that's
other
very
one.
obvious.
The big heavy
I've seen his
blade.
work before. The bite marks definitely am.
To keep a record of his dental work on me.
Now, I'm assuming that I don't get instant visions of Anton going to fucking town, right?
Right, like,
I get like sword, I get probably whatever the enchantment is on the sword and a general like emotional feel for that.
yeah.
And possibly like if any of his blood is around, then I'd get like, blood ties or something.
Did Anton take injury as he was doing this, or is it just the Mind Flayer blood?
Good question.
Because
I'm
like
going
realistically,
to say...
the difference between Anton definitely did this and guy with the sword did this
Yeah.
is very, very small. And like we have no reason to believe that Anton's here.
I will say that with a 28 on your survival, yes, I'm going to say that, like, Illithids don't necessarily fight, like, with blades most of the time, right? They fight with their
it's like a
minds,
psychic
they use
residue
their
and stuff.
psychic blasts and bullshit, but they will at some point try to grab you with their tentacles and eat your brain. And yes, at one point, one of them will have gripped him, or will have gripped, like, the area here, and a drop of blood you'll see that you will be able to get a connection to, yes.
Okay.
As it died. It turns out Mind Flayers, once you, like, get in and do a bunch of attacks on them, they fall really fast.
It's squishy, but they gotta get to him first. I think Dell will, he knows that they were like low-key being held against their will, yeah?
Yeah.
I think that Dell will, basically do like a quick and dirty last rites.
For
them?
the Mind Flayers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
May you in your last moments have had the wisdom to suffer as your minions have suffered.
I mean, like, not Catholic, but okay.
Instead of crossing someone, you just do this.
I think that he would do last rites in accordance with his faith.
Yeah.
Specifically because of the tenets of his faith. So.
Are you gonna?
And I like if the rest of the party was there for that, that's fine. And this one.
The illusion
Charlotte
is going
is
to
not
remain,
here.
so you can
Yeah.
leave the bodies there if you want.
We ain't got nobody to bury them, and I ain't about to track them back to the fucking King's Grove or some shit. But like, you know.
Okay. So let's go ahead and jump over to the Curious Library.